Be sure to subscribe for your chance to win a custom leather playmat when we hit 2,500 subscribers. Hey everyone, I actually finished up the Fast Effect videos for the whole week, so I've got a little bit of extra time that I can spend to answer any type of questions you guys want to see videos about, get my thoughts out there for pretty much whatever you guys want to hear from me. And I already started recording a video, which I scrapped about halfway through, pretty uncharacteristic. Usually I like to do these things in one take just to try and be efficient and force my way through it, even if there's awkward pauses or whatever. But I cursed myself there. So basically, I was talking about inflation and some different concepts within economics, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk it way back, and I'm going to start talking about money and what it means to be money and kind of branch out from there. So money is a medium of exchange for the most part, which Magic cards do satisfy. I mean, we trade cards all the time. That's a big aspect of the game, and it's one of the things I actually like the most about the game. Another thing that money does is store value, which for the most part, Magic cards do, at least in part, pretty successfully. I think there's pretty difficult to come up with some asset classes that have done better over the life of Magic than Magic the Gathering. I mean, it's really remarkable. You have to go to things like Bitcoin to come even close to what you could have done with Marty McFly Future Vision in terms of buying cards and holding on to them. Though, to be fair, if the cards didn't get out there and affect the millions and millions of people that it did, then they wouldn't have ever been worth anything. It really is about the fact that it's connected with so many millions. That is a major factor. So if you do build that time machine, be very careful about potentially killing Magic by buying up all of the cards early and not letting them actually get out there for people to enjoy the game. And then a unit of account is another function of Magic, which is to say that of money, which is to say that it can be used to try and kind of establish values. And that's kind of the function of money. And Magic cards largely do that. It's not perfect. And we'll see as we go through all of this, Magic cards are not the best money, period. I mean, there's no one best money. Historically, gold and silver have done extremely well as being a good money within the market. It gets selected when people actually get to choose. But there's no real perfect solutions that I've seen. And certainly when you try and mandate it, which creates a whole new set of problems. I mean, once you mandate anything be money, then people get to play games with it. Obviously, if you know by force of law that people have to accept gold or silver, you can play all sorts of games, buying up the supply and tinkering with the value and really just run roughshod over the population. So not actually in favor of that. That's a whole nother issue. Today, I'm just talking about whether or not Magic cards are money and what that actually means and what is money. So a lot of people just think about it as these pieces of paper that we carry in our pockets, but there's a lot going on. And in terms of determining if something is money, money in a kind of natural sense emerges out of the market where people choose what to accept from other people. And there's a bunch of characteristics that make things desirable as money. First up here is durability. So ham sandwiches, not good money because they're not very durable. They're going to go bad when left out. They are something that can easily be punched off your table and destroyed, and it's just a complete mess. Ham sandwiches, terrible money. Magic cards, decent money. I mean, you can't run it through the washing machine like you can a Federal Reserve note if you're from America. But for the most part, if you leave it on a table, as I often do, oh, look at that. There's actually some right there. Which pile is this? I have like multiple piles. Get that out of the camera. All right. That actually looks better than, I guess that looks better than a chair. We'll bring it back in. Anyways, sorry about that. It's not, ham sandwiches, not good money. Magic cards, decent money. They can sit around. They're not going to get destroyed. You take care of them. They don't like water. That's probably their main shortcoming when it comes to durability. So Magic cards, kind of decent in terms of durability. Next one is portability. There are plenty of things that are worth quite a lot, but they're not portable, like your home. Like if you own your home, that is an asset, potentially. I mean, it's kind of mixed. It's a liability in the sense that it costs you money every year, but it does tend to appreciate in value. So that's a whole nother conversation, whether or not it's proper to classify your home as an asset or a liability. I think there's elements of truth to both of those. I think it's mostly a liability that can save you the alternative because, it's either that or be homeless. So that said, it's not portable. Magic cards, super portable. So I would say A+ in terms of portability. One of the main reasons why I do what I do is I can have just thousands and thousands of cards in terms of the financial side of Magic, and they don't take up that much space. I've got probably 4 million cards at the back of the shop. I mean, definitely more than 3 million at this point. And they take up a bunch of space, but a heck of a lot less than just about anything else. I mean, a stack of Magic cards, about 1,000 cards, like yay big. I mean, 1,000 of anything else is usually going to be a lot more than that. I've got Nintendo games in the shop, and I do love having them, but I'm not going to lie, they take up a lot more space. Like, they really do, and they're not very big. Like CDs for, PlayStation 2 and 3 and 4 and all of that, like those things are not very large, but when you compare them to Magic, they're even bigger. So in terms of portability, Magic's pretty good with that. The next one would be uniformity, or sometimes people call it fungibility. So not all works of art, for example, are the same, and not all Magic cards are the same. So in terms of uniformity, a good condition Black Lotus is not the same thing as a poor condition Black Lotus. They're not interchangeable, and that is an issue. It ties into durability in terms of being able to, take damage. But the fact that it decreases in value once it gets roughed up, that is a big issue. So a coin may be able to get scratched up, but it's still, it's fine. Like a 25-cent piece in your pocket is going to be the same regardless until you get into the collectible nature, which kind of transcends money in a sense as well. Let's see if I actually have all of these together. This one was divisibility. Oh no. So divisibility, you can't just cut up a piece of art. It's no way of giving somebody half of a painting. That's not going to work. So I skipped over the uniformity. So yes, not all paintings are equal. Not all, food here. I queued up a meme for this, but that was the point I was making with this informational picture here, is not all dinners are the same. Not all of different asset classes are the same. So with Magic, they're not uniform, but there is an exception to that, which I would argue would be bulk rares, or perhaps just bulk in general. So once you distill down to the point where nobody cares what the cards are anymore, that is where I would say Magic cards are actually uniform. So bulk rares, if right now I'm buying them at, say, 5 cents, I believe. Yes, I'm buying bulk rares at 5 cents for the modern era. If you have different eras, obviously that changes, but if we're talking about you're going to buy a box of M21 and turn in all of the junk rares that are like literally garbage that are selling online for like 20 cents or whatever, I'll buy them at a nickel a piece. And I don't care what they are. And maybe 5 years from now, there'll be some cards in there that go up in value. That's a separate conversation. But the point is, at its core, you can distill Magic down to a point where it is uniform. Bulk commons and uncommons, same thing. Once you get to a bulk rate where it's just like, okay, a box this big I buy at $10, or a row of rares this big I'm buying at $50, whatever it is, it's uniform across the board. And that is an element of Magic that actually works. We used to do bulk rare poker all the time way back in the day, where you'd sit down and the rares were actually your poker chips, and nobody cared. Like, that was it. Like, the rares were the rares. We actually played them face down, so it wasn't a distraction, and it just didn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it was legit. A bulk rare is a bulk rare is a bulk rare, and it's not perfect because there were times where people might be incorrect. They might put a card in there that was 50 cents instead of just straight bulk. So again, Magic's not perfect money. I'm not making that argument, but the question is, does it function as money at all? And I would say, yeah, in that regard, it can handle, to some degree, when you get to bulk, the the litmus test of uniformity or fungibility would be another word that people use for that. Cards being limited is the next one. Air is one of the most important things that we have, but you'll notice that it's not actually used in commerce in that sense because there's enough for everybody. Everybody can actually breathe as much as they want. It's a non-issue. And as soon as things start to get scarce, that's when we need to apply economics. And things are either going to be rationed one way or another. Either they're going to be rationed by the market or they're going to be rationed by force. And of course, the rationing only needs to happen when there's not enough of it, which is, I'll just throw this out there, one of the reasons why intellectual property is completely incompatible with freedom and a terrible idea is intellectual property is not actually scarce. If you have a song that you make up, other people can sing that song. Everybody in the world can sing that song, and they can replicate it infinite times on a hard drive. It is infinite. It is not actually a scarce good. So Magic cards are scarce, which is the first test because, obviously it has to be scarce in some sense, but it's also limited in the sense that you can't just make more of them. So scarcity is the first, then we go to limited. So for example, wooden chairs. They are scarce. There's not enough of them in the world for everybody to have as many as they want, but they are not limited in the sense that you can just easily go out and make more. Like that is a non-issue. So historically, things like gold and silver have done well in terms of being limited because there's a finite amount of gold and silver. First off, on Earth, period. It's not like more is just like being created. It's an actual atomic structure. And then there's only so much of it that's been pulled out of the ground. So you can, pull some more out to inflate the supply, but it is at its core, it's actually limited. There's not actually an easy way to just make as much of it as you want. And that's something that you have to be careful of. Magic, in this case, has a monopoly, which is why it's limited. Magic the Gathering is granted a monopoly by the government. It's through trademark, through copyright, through patent, and they pretty much got all of the IPs covered. And at the end of the day, it's a limited product, so it does actually work pretty well as money in that regard, which is part of the reason why so many of the cards are worth so much. And then the final thing would be acceptability. And in the Magic community, there's a pretty decent amount of acceptability. This is another place where it's not an absolute home run. You could go into like a Burger King with a Black Lotus, and you know what? If the right person's not in there, you couldn't even trade it for I was going to say a Big Mac, but I mean, nobody could do that at a Burger King, right? That's McDonald's. I think I got them crossed up. But you go into a McDonald's, you're not going to walk out with a Big Mac unless somebody actually wants that Black Lotus. Now, if somebody knows what they're looking at, they'd be willing to give you their car potentially for it. But if they don't know, they don't know. And that's definitely an issue in terms of Magic being money is the acceptability, which is honestly in our favor. Because I don't think we want Magic to be classified as money. I think anything with money and gambling, all of those type of things bring a whole bunch of interference and regulation and just an absolute mess that goes along with it, which nobody wants. And hopefully that'll never be the case. Hopefully Magic will continue to always be a zone where we get to play freely and actually have fun with the market like existing. Like that's one of the things that I absolutely love about Magic is the playground of the market, the buying, the selling, the trading, the cards going up in value, the speculation to a degree where you just look at a card and you're like, this card is actually really much better than people think, or vice versa. You just look and you say, this is just the madness of crowds where people are just getting swept up in cards that are actually hot garbage, and you're just going to short it. You're not actually interested in playing that game and paying those early prices because you believe people are just out of their minds and super excited about it. So those are just the key things: durability, portability, divisible, kind of uniformity or fungibility, the fact that it's limited, and that it's accepted, or the acceptability of it in terms of commerce. And then the functions being the medium of exchange, the unit of account, and the store of value. So those are just my thoughts about magic cards being money. Let me know if this is way, way too nerdy. If you guys are not interested in this, if this is something you've never really thought about, you know, I could go in another direction and talk about other things that are money that we don't think of as money, like cigarettes in prison, or, I mean, they're basically, you know, the bulk rare equivalent there, where it's just a unit of measure that you just kind of use to trade for goods or services in prison. And, you know, magic cards are actually that too. I know people that actually work in the prison system, and magic cards are a big, big thing in some of those systems once those catch on. And getting them from the outside world is not an easy thing. So that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I just wanted to get some thoughts out. Like I said, I started on a different video talking about inflation, and then I realized that without kind of laying the groundwork for what money is, it'd be pretty difficult to really go nerd out about inflation and what that means in terms of the price of magic cards, from bulk rares to higher end cards. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to throw this one on, and if you like these kind of economic videos, I am happy to do them. And if you think they need more polish, whatever your feedback is, you let me know, and we'll see if we can make that happen. Thanks for watching. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault Games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.